Yeah, g'day everyone. Welcome to Sky Racing International's coverage of the Brisbane Winter Carnival. Group 1 racing rolls on this weekend with an excellent support card to boot. And some of these other races on the program will have ramifications for Group 1s like the Stradbroke a bit later on in the season. Lewis Willoughby here alongside another very proud Queenslander, Brodie Nickson. Brodie, great day's racing coming up at Eagle Farm on Saturday.
Yeah, g'day Lewis and g'day to everyone tuning in. Coming up at Eagle Farm on Saturday, one of the best racing days on the calendar, and it only improves as well. The Kingsford Smith Group 1 alongside the Derby. A couple of fillies are only able to win the race in history, so it's up against the favourite. We'll be touching on that a little bit later on, but the Fred Best golden ticket for the 3-year-olds into the Stradbroke Handicap.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Fred Best as one of the feature races coming up this Saturday. Here is the first page of the market for the 3-year-olds. As you mentioned, Brodie, over 1,400 metres. A few handy ones going around as well.
Absolutely. Sifrado, Jum and Chrysaor, they just about jumped joint favourites in the Magic Millions 3-year-old guineas. Tabati's promised the world early in his career in Victoria, hasn't he, Lewis? He's currently delivering an Atlas. Kanish, the Gold Coast Guineas winner, which was run at the Sunshine Coast because of wet rain. Schwartz, this is the fascinating runner for John O'Shea. It's promised a lot throughout its career, hasn't quite delivered. And on the other side of the page, we get towards these other lightly raced gallopers, including Steffi Magnetica for Bourne Baker. She hasn't won since winning at, I think it was Orange, in the Genuine Country Tracks. She's a Group 1 placed already. She comes to a fascinating run last start in the Doomben 10,000.
I love the jockeys we've got booked here as well. You look at big names like Tim Clark, Mark Zara, Jason Collett, Blake Shin as well, up against Queensland local CJ Graham, making a real fist of it up there, the young girl, and Vlad Jurek now basing himself in Queensland after a very long and successful career in Singapore. So this is going to be a really hot edition of the 3-year-old Fred Best Classic. Plenty of form lines to jump into, Brodie. Let's start with perhaps what's going to be the strongest of them that we'll take a look at, and it was the running of the Doomben 10,000 at Group 1 level a few weeks ago.
Going to be a lot of replays watched to this race, of course, heading into the Group 1. The Kingsford Smith later on with I Wish I Win, who's nailed on the line by Bella Nipotina. Last in the gold and navy blue is Steffi Magnetica. She was up against the old horses coming through the 3-year-old autumn campaign here in Sydney. She was fantastic.
On the inside and bursting through now as I Wish I Win. Down the outside is Espiona. Also Bella Nipotina and Private Eye down the outside. I Wish I Win, Bella Nipotina. I Wish I Win, Bella Nipotina. They hit the line. Oh, it's a bobbing photo. I Wish I Win or Bella Nipotina. Not sure who gets the bob. Wait for the judge. A further photo, third, Steffi Magnetica.
That was a great run from Steffi Magnetica, who wasn't far away from them, Brodie. We mentioned it was probably an interesting decision to cut back to the inside there at a crucial stage. You mentioned she's been out of the winner's stall quite a while, not since a win in country New South Wales, but you look at the horses she's got form around, this Fred Best is going to be a real step down in grade for her.
It's apples and oranges, these Group 1 gallopers, compared to what these other runners have faced, albeit they come through the Genuine 3-year-old, the Guineas campaigns, up to Brisbane running into those 3-year-old set weights, whereas she brings genuine Group 1 form lines. She was fantastic. I know it's not going to happen because it's a 3-year-old race, but if I Wish I Wins in this event, he's sub $1.40.
Correct.
So she was fantastic. And as you mentioned, Lewis, cut back to the inside really wasn't the place to be on the day at Doomben, was it?
No, wasn't at all. So it was a pretty good run, all things considered. Let's take a look at the Group 3 Hawkesbury Guineas, which is a race that Schwartz comes through. This pretty promising colt for John O'Shea, who's just starting to put things all together. I still am not a true believer yet that Schwartz is of the top class, but all you can do, Brodie, is win and win pretty well.
Now, this race last year, we saw Hawaii 5-0 come through this event, the Hawkesbury Guineas, bolted in the Fred Best, ran third in the Stradbroke Handicap. So it's a proven form line, however. Lewis, I'm with you. He's in front here with the Rosemont red and blue silks. They absolutely walked in front. I'm not too sure how good he is. The camp believes a genuine Group 1 star. We've got to find out on Saturday.
Snowman's down the outside, then Butch Cassidy, but Schwartz is kicking. He's still in front, 100 to go. Bojangles, Snowman trying to get him, but Schwartz is responding, and he's going to go all of the way. Schwartz is too good for Bojangles. Great go third. McHale.
So another one that comes through that race was McHale, who ends up finishing third in a close photo. We spoke about the previous race, the Doomben 10,000, and if I Wish I Win was in the Fred Best, it'd be $1.40. if some of these horses were in the Fred Best on Saturday, they'd be $140. It's just chalk and cheese form lines.
It is completely different form lines. Now, Kona Sana, the second favourite this day in the Whoppet Bloodstock Purple and White, pulled up lane.
Yep.
So you put a line through her. She came out on Saturday and bolted in. So that's another way you can kind of line up the form lines. Bojangles went to Scone, fairly weak race, easily handled, and a few others as well. McHale had every chance under J-Mac last start in a much weaker form line. So I have big question marks on this. However, beware of the undefeated horse. I know he's not undefeated, but he's got lengths up his sleeve. He finally showed it this day, and it's going to be fascinating to line up. The market in particular is going to be the big watch.
So they're two of the more outlier form lines for this year's Fred Best. The next two replays, Brodie, we're going to take a look at. No less than 14 horses in the Fred Best come through these next two races. Let's start with the Group 3 Gold Coast Guineas. It was run, funnily enough, at the Sunshine Coast this day. Taken out by the Godolphin Blue of Corniche. It jumped about a $3 chance and, as mentioned, beat 6 rivals who it faces again on Saturday.
Soiwai leads. Now, Sofrado's off the fence, but Corniche in the Godolphin Blue. This was an outstanding ride by James McDonald. He's run some of the fastest closing splits of the day. Did find the right part of the track, but the late strength was there for us all to see. He's the only horse out of this race I wanted to follow.
It's Sofrado in front. He's wayward. He's just in front. Corniche is driving hard, and Corniche is going right over the top. Corniche beats Sofrado and Salui, fourth in Moravia.
So Sofrado, it was begging for the post. The most impressive part for me about Corniche's victory was that last 100 metres, race on the line, knuckled down, wanted it more than anything. And you look there through the line, realistically, Brodie, pulling away from them.
He was pulling away from them, and this is such an interesting horse, Lewis. I'm keen to give him a good push, because when you look back through his previous form lines, Golden Slipper Day at Rose Hill, Schwartz first up, Corniche first up. Corniche was a better run, and he had a heavier weight as well. Second up during the championships, Schwartz, he was in the inferior ground, slightly unlucky, but Corniche had to go back to last. Savage the line, another tremendous run, I believe was better than Schwartz. If he went to the Hawkesbury Guineas on the same day, I would have easily backed Corniche in that event over the top of Schwartz. Since he's got that win, the first one he had since a 2-year-old, he defeated galloper by the name of Shinzo, who came out and won a Golden Slipper about 3 weeks later. The right form lines are there. He's finding form. He's still very lightly raced. And off that late strength, he has to be the top 2 seeds for mine.
Yeah, really big sense of timing around Corniche, I think. Another of the replays we're going to take a look at here, it was a 3-year-old played at Doomben back on May 18, won by another Godolphin galloper by the name of Amur. It was first up, $41 on this occasion, but gee, didn't it win like an odds-on pop?
Now this is where we throw big question marks over form lines. McHale's in the box seat, the green and white. Now he ran well behind Schwartz. Amur's got to the outside with a big boldy nose. He charges over the top at 40-1. He was gelded, had okay form lines as a 2-year-old, but geez, this is apples and oranges compared to what we saw previously.
Been wide. The instructor is still just in front. The inside Golden Decade. Michaela's coming through. Bounding and Amur down the outside. Will beat them all. Amur has won in a blanket go from photos. The instructor Abounding Michaela. Not sure the order though.
All right, Brodie, talk me through it. Obvious concerns for mine regarding this form line. A $41 winner, and B, a very small margin spread across the line. Look at the first, what is that, 7 or 8 here that finish past the post. There's only a length or 2 splitting them.
I was on McHale, and at the 100, I thought I was going to be the winner, and I thought there's no way each way he's going to miss a hole, and he has. So that goes to show how tight it was, and all these gallopers, they've got exposed form lines. There's nothing special about them. We do know that.
Okay, so there's a host of replays we've taken a look at, almost all of the field dissected through those 4 replays. Brodie, who are you keen to play in this year's Fred Best?
Yeah, I think Steffi Magnetica, she is the bet for this race for mine. I think Tommy Berry goes aboard. We saw those Group 1 form lines, and also during the autumn here in Sydney, she was absolutely outstanding on multiple occasions. Her run in the Group 1 Surround Stakes was fantastic, running second. Just got knocked off by Tropical Squall, who came out and ran so well in the likes of the Coolmore and a few others as well. So she's clearly on top for me. And the duet, I could not be more confident in this bet, Lewis, because 2 out of these 2 have to just run in the top 3, second, third, first, third, whatever it's going to be in either order. I don't think there's a way they miss the placings, and that gives me a little bit of banking, because if Schwartz comes out and blows them away, which some think he might, these 2, I'm certain, will still both be running top 3.
It's going to be a cracker day to play the exotics like a duet as well, that World Pool. It's going to be pumping on Saturday in Queensland. So much money up for grabs across all of the win, place and exotic pools. Can't wait to see it unfold. This year's Fred Best Classic for 2024. You can catch it all live here on Sky Racing.